Point 1, she wants to feel emotionally safe, and most men don't even realize what that means. They think it's about attraction, chemistry, saying the right things. But it's deeper than that. It's the feeling she gets when she's around you, the way you react when she opens up, the way your tone shifts when she's vulnerable, whether she feels judged or understood. Because a woman can laugh with you, she can be attracted to you, she can enjoy your presence, but if she feels like she has to filter herself, hold back her thoughts, or be careful around your reactions, she's already pulling away. Emotional safety isn't about being nice, it's about being steady. You don't overreact. You don't disappear when things get real. You don't make her feel wrong for feeling deeply. You become the one place where she doesn't have to pretend, and that's rare. Most men want her when she's at her best, happy, fun, easy to be around, but very few can handle her when she's quiet, overthinking, or not okay. And that's where it's built, in those moments where she expects distance, but you stay, where she expects judgment, but you listen, where she expects you to pull away, but you understand, and without even realizing it, she starts to feel calm around you. Safe, and that changes everything, because attraction might bring her closer, but this is what makes her stay. Point 2, consistency matters more than intensity. This is where a lot of men confuse attraction with connection, because intensity feels powerful. Fast replies, long conversations, late night talks, big words, big promises, big emotions. It feels like something real is happening, but intensity is easy. Anyone can show up strong for a few days. Anyone can make you feel special when they're in the mood. Anyone can give attention when it's convenient. But consistency, that's rare. Consistency is who you are when the emotions settle down, when the excitement fades a little. When life gets busy, when things aren't perfect, that's when your real value shows, because a woman doesn't just notice how high you can go, she watches how stable you are over time. If you're amazing one day, then distant the next, then back again like nothing happened, you don't create attraction. You create confusion, and confusion slowly turns into emotional exhaustion. She starts questioning everything. Is he actually interested? Did I do something wrong? Why does his energy keep changing? And once she starts feeling that instability, her guard goes up. Because no one feels safe in something unpredictable. That's why consistency beats intensity every single time. It's not about texting her all day. It's not about doing something extreme to impress her. It's about showing up the same way again and again. Your tone, your effort, your energy, not perfect but reliable, because when she knows what to expect from you, when your presence doesn't feel like a gamble, she relaxes. She stops overthinking, she stops questioning your intentions, and that's when trust starts to build. Slowly, quietly, but deeply, most men try to win her over with spikes of attention, trying to create moments she can't forget, but what actually stays in her mind is the pattern. The way you show up consistently, because anyone can create a moment, but very few can become a constant. And in the end, it's not the intense ones she remembers, it's the consistent one she feels safe choosing. Point 3, she pays attention to the little things. And most men completely overlook this. They think it's the big gestures that matter, the expensive dates, the long messages, the dramatic moments. But that's not what stays with her, it's the small things, the things you don't even realize you're doing or not doing. The way you remember something she mentioned once and bring it up later without her repeating it. The way you notice her mood without her having to explain it. The way your tone softens when she's not okay. These things don't look big from the outside, but to her they mean everything. Because they show one simple thing, you're paying attention, and attention is a form of care most people fake. Anyone can say, I care about you. But very few people actually notice you, and a woman can feel that difference instantly. She notices when you remember the small details, and she notices when you forget them. She notices when your words match her reality, and she notices when you're just saying things. Even the smallest inconsistency, the smallest shift in behavior, it doesn't go unnoticed, because she's not just listening to what you say, she's observing who you are. In the pauses, in the reactions, in the things you think don't matter, that's where she builds her perception of you. And here's the truth most men don't want to hear. You don't lose her because of one big mistake. You lose her through a pattern of small things that slowly make her feel unseen, unnoticed, unimportant, and once she starts feeling that she doesn't fight for your attention, she quietly pulls it back. That's why the little things matter so much, because they're constant, they're real, they're hard to fake over time. Anyone can show up big once, but the small things happen every day, and that's what she's watching. Because when a woman feels seen, truly noticed without asking for it, she doesn't need grand gestures. Your presence becomes enough, and that's rare. Point 4. Respect is more attractive than charm. Most men get this completely backwards. They think if they're funny enough, smooth enough, confident enough in words, they'll win her attention. And yes, charm can get her to notice you, but it doesn't make her stay, because charm is easy to switch on. It can be performed, it can be copied, it can disappear the moment your mood changes. Respect is different. Respect is not about what you say. It's about how you carry yourself. It's in the way you don't beg for attention, the way you don't chase validation, the way you don't lose yourself just to keep someone interested. Because the moment a man starts trying too hard to be liked, he quietly stops being respected, and without respect, attraction doesn't last. A woman may enjoy your presence when you're entertaining, when you're making her laugh, when everything feels light and easy, but deep down, she's observing something else. She's asking herself, does this man respect himself? Does he stand on his own energy? Or is he adjusting everything just to keep me here? Because the truth is, she doesn't want a man who is available in every direction. She wants a man who has direction. Someone who doesn't collapse his boundaries just to avoid losing her. Someone who doesn't change his values for temporary approval. That's what creates respect, not controlling behavior, not arrogance, not ego, but calm self-respect. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself, and here's what most men miss. Charm makes her smile, but respect makes her stay aware of your value, because when she respects you, she becomes careful with how she treats you. She doesn't want to lose you, she doesn't take you lightly, she doesn't assume you'll always be there no matter what. And that shift changes everything, because at that point, you're not just another option in her life. You become a standard she measures other men against, and that doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from standing firm. Quietly, consistently, without needing to prove anything. Point 5, she needs to feel chosen, not optional. This is something most men completely underestimate, because on the surface, everything can look fine. You're talking to her, you're replying, you're present, you're not doing anything wrong, but emotionally, she can still feel replaceable. And that feeling changes everything. A woman doesn't just want attention, she wants priority in how she's treated. Not in words, but in energy. Because if she feels like she's just one of many options in your life, even if you never say it directly, she starts to detach slowly. Not loudly, not suddenly, but quietly, in her tone, in her replies, in the effort she gives back, because no one stays emotionally invested where they feel optional. She wants to feel like when you choose her it's intentional, not convenient, that she's not something you fall back on when you're bored or free or lonely, but someone you actively choose even when life is full. That's what creates emotional weight, because I'm here is not enough. She needs to feel I chose to be here, and there's a difference, a big one, because when a woman feels chosen, she relaxes into the connection. She stops questioning your interest. She stops competing for your attention. She stops overanalyzing your behavior. But when she feels optional, she starts protecting herself. She pulls back a little. She stops investing fully. She keeps one foot out emotionally because nobody wants to be the only one trying to hold something together. And here's the part most men miss. It's not about grand gestures. It's about clarity in behavior, the way you prioritize her without making her feel like a backup plan. The way you make time without making it feel accidental. The way your presence feels deliberate, not leftover. Because she can feel the difference between being chosen and being available, and once she feels chosen, truly chosen, she doesn't compete for your attention anymore. She protects her place in your life, quietly, naturally, because people don't leave where they feel valued and selected. They leave where they feel replaceable. Point 6. Your actions speak louder than your words. This is where most men unknowingly lose all credibility. Because words are easy, anyone can say the right things, anyone can promise consistency, anyone can sound emotionally intelligent in a moment. But actions don't lie, and women don't evaluate you by what you claim to be. They evaluate you by what you repeatedly do. At first, she might listen to your words, she might even believe them, but over time, she stops listening to what you say and starts watching what you actually do. Because that's where truth shows up. If you say she matters, but only show up when it's convenient, she notices. If you say you care, but disappear when things get slightly uncomfortable, she notices. If you say she's important, but your behavior never reflects priority, she notices. Not immediately, not loudly, but quietly in the background of her mind, and slowly her trust starts shifting. Because inconsistency between words and actions creates confusion, and confusion is the beginning of emotional distance. She stops taking your words seriously. She stops getting reassured by what you say. She stops expecting stability from promises, not because she wants to punish you, but because her mind is trying to protect her from disappointment. And here's the part most men don't understand. You don't lose trust in one moment. You lose it through repetition. Through small gaps between what you say and what you do, and the more those gaps exist, the more she starts to detach emotionally. Even if she still replies, even if she still laughs, even if she still stays in the conversation, something inside her has already started stepping back. Because actions create reality for her, not intentions, not explanations, not emotional speeches, just patterns. And when your pattern is stable, when your behavior is consistent, when your presence aligns with your words, she doesn't need reassurance anymore. Because she can feel it without being told. But when your actions don't match your words, she stops believing both. And once that happens, you don't get trust back with talking. You only rebuild it with time, with behavior. With proof, because at the end of the day, she's not listening to what you say, she's living what you show her. 7.7. She values presence more than perfection. This is something most men never fully understand, because they think they need to be perfect to be enough. Perfect replies, perfect confidence, perfect timing, perfect words, so they start performing. They overthink every message, they filter every sentence, they try to never say the wrong thing, and in doing that they lose something far more important. Their presence, because presence is not about being flawless, it's about being real in the moment. It's the feeling she gets when you're actually there mentally, emotionally, not just physically. A woman can sense when you're truly with her, and she can also sense when you're somewhere else in your head. Even if you're replying instantly, even if you're saying all the right things, if your energy feels absent, she notices. Because presence is felt, not explained, and here's the truth most men miss: she doesn't fall for perfect behavior. She connects with genuine attention, the kind where you're not trying to impress her in every second. You're just there, naturally engaged, naturally listening, naturally reacting. No performance, no script in your head, just real interaction, because perfection creates distance. It feels controlled, polished, safe, but also slightly cold. But but presence creates closeness. It feels alive. Unfiltered, human, and that's what builds emotional connection. Not being flawless, but being there. She remembers how you made her feel in the moment, not how perfect your words were, because she can feel when someone is talking at her and when someone is actually with her. And the difference between those two is everything. Most men try to impress her with perfection, but the ones she actually remembers are the ones who were simply present. No overthinking, no performance, no pressure to be anything other than real, just there, and that's rare. Point 8, trust takes time, but it can break instantly. This is one of the hardest truths most men don't respect, because they think trust is something you build once and then it stays. But trust doesn't work like that. It's slow to build but extremely fast to lose. A woman can spend weeks, even months, slowly getting comfortable with you. Watching your behavior, noticing your consistency, feeling your energy, trust builds quietly in the background. In how you respond when she's emotional, in how you handle pressure, in how stable you are when things are not perfect. But the same trust can collapse in a single moment, one inconsistency, one unexpected reaction, one moment where your behavior doesn't match the person she thought you were. And something inside her shifts, not always loudly, not always immediately, but internally she starts reevaluating everything. Because trust is not just about big actions, it's about predictability. When someone feels emotionally safe with you, they start to relax. They stop analyzing every move. They stop questioning intentions. They stop protecting themselves so much. But the moment you break that sense of stability, even slightly, her mind wakes up again. And once the mind wakes up, the heart steps back. She starts noticing things she ignored before. Small things start feeling bigger. Normal behavior starts feeling questionable. Not because you changed completely, but because the image she had of you cracked. And here's what most men don't realize. You don't lose trust because of one mistake alone. You lose it because that mistake changes how she interprets everything else. Suddenly, past moments get reread. Past actions get reevaluated. Past words don't feel as solid anymore. Because trust is not just about what you do in the present, it's about how your behavior makes her feel about the future. And when that feeling becomes unstable, she starts emotionally pulling back. Not out of anger, but out of self-protection. Because no one stays fully open where unpredictability exists, and rebuilding that trust, it's not about explanations. It's about time, consistent behavior, the same energy, repeated again and again until her nervous system relaxes again. Because in the end, trust is not built in big moments. It's built in repetition, and it breaks the same way. One shift can change everything she thought she knew. Point 9, she wants to be heard, not fixed. This is where most men try to solve her instead of understanding her. Because when a woman opens up, most men immediately go into problem-solving mode. What happened? Just do this. Don't think like that. You should handle it this way. It comes from good intention, but it misses the point completely, because in that moment, she's not asking for a solution. She's asking for presence. She doesn't need you to fix her emotions. She needs you to understand them, to sit with them without trying to erase them. Because her feelings are not a problem to be solved. They are something to be felt and acknowledged. And when you rush to fix everything, it can make her feel like her emotions are inconvenient, like she needs to be better before she can be heard, and slowly she stops opening up, not because she doesn't trust you, but because she doesn't feel understood. There's a difference between listening and fixing. Listening says, I'm here with you. Fixing says, let's move past this quickly. And what she actually needs in that moment is not advice. It's connection, because when a woman shares what she feels, she's not always looking for answers. She's looking for relief. And that relief comes from being heard without judgment, without interruption, without correction, without being told she's overthinking, just space, just attention, just someone who stays present while she processes what she's feeling. And here's what most men don't realize. When you stop trying to fix her, you actually make her feel safer opening up more. Because now she doesn't have to defend her emotions. She doesn't have to explain herself twice. She doesn't have to justify how she feels. She can just be, and in that space something changes. Her walls come down, not because you gave advice, but because you gave understanding. And over time that becomes rare because most people react to emotions. Very few actually receive them. And the man who can simply listen without trying to control the direction of her feelings becomes the one she trusts with her inner world. Quietly, naturally, without force, just because she feels heard. 10 ultra long point 10, how you make her feel is everything. At the end of all of this is what it always comes down to. Not your words, not your explanations. Not your intentions, just the feeling you leave behind. Because a woman may forget exact conversations, she may forget the details of what you said, she may even forget certain moments over time, but she never forgets how you made her feel. That emotional imprint stays. If she felt safe with you, she remembers peace. If she felt confused around you, she remembers anxiety. If she felt valued, she remembers warmth. If she felt ignored, she remembers distance, and those feelings don't disappear just because the moment ends. They stay in the background of her mind, shaping how she sees you. This is why two men can do almost the same things, say similar words, behave in similar ways, but leave completely different impressions. Because it's not the action alone that matters, it's the emotional impact behind it. And most men focus on what they are doing, without realizing she's focused on what she is feeling while they are doing it. That's why presence, consistency, respect, emotional safety, all of it matters, not as separate rules, but as one combined experience. Because she is not evaluating you like a checklist, she is experiencing you like a feeling, and that feeling builds over time. In the way you show up when she's happy, in the way you respond when she's emotional, in the way you handle silence, in the way you behave when nothing dramatic is happening, all of it adds up, and eventually it becomes her perception of you. Not who you think you are, but who she feels you are around her. And here's the part most men don't realize until it's too late. You don't lose her because of one big mistake. You lose her because the overall feeling started to change, the comfort faded, the safety reduced, the clarity disappeared. And once that feeling shifts, everything else follows, because emotions always lead logic, not the other way around. That's why you can't fake this long term. You can't compensate for inconsistency with one big gesture. You can't replace emotional disconnect with nice words. You can't override feeling with explanation. Because she's not holding on to your arguments, she's holding on to her experience of you, and when that experience is positive, she naturally stays close. When it's unstable, she naturally pulls away, not always consciously, but emotionally first, and that's the truth most men miss. You are not remembered for what you said in your best moment. You are remembered for how you made her feel in all the small moments in between. Because in the end, feelings are what remain, not words, not promises, not explanations, just the emotional trace you leave behind. And that is everything.